What's happening, boys and girls? My name is Jeffery Scott Mitchell, coming to you from the ultimate remote location, the place where I was born and raised, Youngstown, Ohio, here spending time in my daughter's basement on one of the 3 Gazelle gliders that I either own or have access to across the country. This one doesn't have bricks on it. The one at my house, I put 4 bricks on it to give weight and a little bit more tension. So this one is like really easy. This one is just like, it's almost too easy. It's almost like cheating. But I'm just trying to get the numbers in. I flew in last night, red eye. Don't want to do that again. It wasn't bad, actually. Actually, it wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad. It was more scary than bad. The scary part was that I was going to fly all night, get minimal sleep, and then come here to granddaughter. Granddaughter is 2 years, 2 or 3 months old, and constant energy. Constant, continuous, happy, curious, stay engaged energy. Smart, responsive, if I can use that word, and engaging, very stimulating for a 2-year-old. And she could say grandfather. It may come out like grandfather or grandfather or something like that, or grandfather, but she definitely could say it. And when my daughter says, get us to grandfather, she knows who I am. And then she come and she even called me that a couple times, come to grandfather. And I'd be like, granddaughter. And then when I came in, first time I saw her, she knew who I was, even said my name. She called me grandfather. She, I guess after, looking at the pictures of, heck, right, since she was born, it didn't seem like it, but I was there, maybe I've been flying back here once every 2 months since her birth. And working from home, since we can work from home, I can work from here. The only caveat is now I have to take Wednesdays off. They're in-office days. If I'm not there, I have to take those days off, use PTO. My daughter's internet is straight. I got a room set up. I bought a monitor. I bought a cheap little monitor. Open box. To help, so I don't have to carry that. So, and I got clothes here. And since I wear the same clothes and I got clothes here, the only thing I really got to bring is my laptop. Actually, what I really bring is all this electronics to do all my recording, microphones, and all kinds of stuff. In fact, security flagged me coming through. They said, you got 2 laptops in there. I said, I only got 1. And they said, well, you got too much electronics in there. I was like, that sounds about right. That sounds about right. My cameras and this and that, and they opened my bag and took out certain things and had it, rescanned it through. And I was good, I was like, because I was at the airport, 2.5, 3 hours early, just cruising. And full disclosure, I had one of the episodes where my stomach starts to do that thing and I get nauseous and I start sweating and I feel like I was going to pass out. And I had one of those episodes on the plane. And it could have been, it seems, okay, since I'm not vaping, I'm not smoking, I'm not doing anything anymore. It all seems to be digestive. Maybe the overnight thing, sitting in that seat. I'm definitely overweight. My pants, cutting in my belly. Like right here, it seems like my circulation or my digestive system may be crimped or something. I don't know, something like that. But, I can't blame it on the vaping or the smoking. or not anymore. It's just, I just ate. I probably ate recklessly. I ate a salad that I made, which is probably more cheese and meat and mushrooms and dressing and croutons than lettuce. Did I eat the rest of that salad? I think I might have ate it all too, because I don't think I would have left it in the refrigerator. I might have, but either way, I ate a bunch of it. Then I got to the airport and I got some French fries. I just feel like eating. I've been hungry. My weight was down to 212 after the walk on Friday, which is really good from considering what I'm doing, what I have been doing. So, but then I ate yesterday, which may not have been bad. Got here today. First thing I did after I got the car from Hertz, because Hertz says that their rental place in Pittsburgh doesn't open till 8, and usually you just go blah, blah, whatever. You book it at 8, because that's when, the only time that you can book it online at 8, and then you just go to, you go to the airport and they're open, they let you in. Or another, I think in Cleveland, 50 or somebody else who was there booked me in through Hertz, because they all work together or whatever. 50 or somebody else, booked me in. And also talking to the Hertz girl in Youngstown, who we've become to be friends. I'm kind of cool with all three of them. Because when I first started, I was telling them too, when I first started working there, and when I first started going there, the service was just bad. The service was just terrible. And I could be, like I said, I'm watching the Gilded Age. I believe in class. I believe in snobs. And just a certain level of service that I'm used to now. It's a certain level of comfort that I'm used to. And I'm at the point where I'll get irritable or irked if I can't attain or have that, or am not presented with that level of service. And in this situation, small town, small rental car center, whatever, blah, 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 even though it's Hertz, the service wasn't there. I was like standing there 10, 15 minutes, whatever. And they just, I let them know. And they could see by the way I was, my short answers. I gave them the Clarence Mitchell. I let them know that I was not happy. And I think I might even have told them. I said, I come from California. We're just not used to this level of service. Waiting here 15 minutes, blah, 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 whatever. And then, a few more times I went there because they're the only show in town where I can rent a car in Cleveland, drive it to Youngstown and leave it there, one way. And that's cheaper than shuttle, cheaper than Uber, everything. Because I don't need a car. I don't need to rent the car for the whole time that I'm here because the thing just sits there. And I'm paying $600-700 to keep a car for 2 weeks and drive it twice. So I just rent the car. In fact, today I rented the car at 6 a.m., took it, dropped it off in Boardman at 10 p.m. I only had it for 4 hours, $84. So I paid like $84 plus gas. I don't even know how much gas I put in that car. Gas back here is like $2.92 a gallon. If that, $2.69, $2.79 a gallon. I didn't even check to see how much I put in there. I just filled it up. Might have been like $12 or something. And I don't even think it could have been that much coming from Cleveland. But, so it cost me probably $100. And it's worth it to me, $100, to be able to drive in to Youngstown by myself, listening to, the music I want to, the vibe that I want to, seeing, how the scenery has changed from fall to winter to summer. Right now, all the leaves are gone and the skies are gray. And I'm looking at it, the farmland coming through Pennsylvania, the rolling hills of Pennsylvania, the fog early morning, just, and me and the music, listening to music of Dead Can Dance. And while I was waiting in the airport at Hertz for them to open, the guy had I was there early, but I started getting steps. And the guy got in front of me. And, I was like, okay, I lost my spot, whatever. I was so early, I was just like, whatever. And then another girl, I guess a girl was there before him, and he even let her go first. I was like, oh, cute. Because I was there like an hour before all of them. I was there like at 6:30, but I just didn't get in line. Then I was talking to him, and he said he's flying to Spain. Right now, he's flying from Pittsburgh to Baltimore and then flying to Spain. And I was like, oh, yeah. I said, I've been to Barcelona. You know, I had to throw that. I had to floss a little bit. I said, yeah, I live in LA. You know, I've been to Barcelona. He said, I said, you know the thing that struck me about Barcelona is, because he said something about being on the beach where he was there. And I was like, yeah, you know what struck me about Barcelona? I came from London or somewhere. And I think it was from Denmark, actually. And it was cold and rainy. And I remember the airport. When I got to the airport, I got to a proximity, I saw the palm trees. And I was like, yeah. Again, so being from LA, I told him, yeah, I knew the weather was going to be right. But anyway, I was talking to him about Barcelona. It hurts. And I don't know why I got into that story. But, you know, they went ahead. I got the car, drove into Youngstown, went to Sparkle Market. Actually, I was on my way to Sparkle Market and said, let me take a ride through the neighborhood. Rode through the south side, saw, you know, where I grew up, looked at the rental property that I own, my father's house, it's across the street from the rental car. From the rental property. He bought the rental property. He didn't do anything with it. We went ahead and put about $20,000 in it and got it to a point to where we could rent it out for I think we were renting it out for $625 a month, and we paid $50 maintenance fee, $50 management fee, and just basically the only thing we see is checks. We either see checks or notices that there won't be checks because, you know, other activities had to be paid for, either be eviction notices or whatever, you know. So they handle it all. Only thing we see is the money, and from the way these people talk, all you got to do is get you a property. They'll get you in this situation. And I was like, because when I sold the house across the street, they were like, how much can you know, blood numbers. And she said she'd get me this number for it. I was like, and she was like, all day. I was like, do it then. I'll take it for that. And I sold it, and then turned around, it seemed like they selling it for double the price, and it's not worth that price. It looked like somebody's working on it now. Somebody was in it. Looked like they were tearing it up. I don't know what was going on, but it didn't look like it was being treated right. And they tore down the house next to it. So now the houses on both sides of my father's house are gone. You know, we own the house across the street. It's like a really small 1-bedroom. That house, for my father's house, you know, I kind of grew up in, was like 4 bedrooms or something, in the attic and a basement. Just huge old house. It's a huge old house. You know, I think they was asking for $55,000 for that. I'm like, yeah, okay. You know, because I think people are buying it without even seeing it as an investment. To where, you know, they don't want to see it. They don't even want to see it or work with it. They just want to know that it's turning. You know, they don't really care about it or the neighborhood or anything. They just want to make sure it's turning. So I rode there before I went to Sparkle. Then I went to Sparkle, and I picked up some food, junk, purely junk. After I got sick and almost got that sickness, nauseous, getting ready, you know, pass out on the plane, that whole thing was going on, just like it has before. Right before I passed out, the exact same thing. This happened to me years ago. But I didn't quite pass out, but I would just, you know, be sweating, get sick, and feel like I need to go throw up or go to the bathroom or something. And then what happened lately was I'd stand up and boom, pass out. I guess they said my pressure gets so low, there's some kind of thing, what you call it when you have, not a disease, but something, not a procedure, but something that where, you know, when certain trauma happens to the body or certain circumstances, the body just shuts down and you faint. And he said, it's not, you know, nothing that's gonna kill you, it's just a thing people got, you know, so. But then, you know, last time I fainted, busted my teeth and, you know, made me get more serious about life and some of the bad habits that I had. And I'm slowly cleaning them up. And that was only March. That was like less than a year ago. Major, tore my lip, busted my teeth out. You know, I mean, passed out, woke up, my 2 front teeth busted, cracked, and I'm feeling chips of teeth in my mouth, lips split, ripped. I wake up and I'm in the bed. and I'm like rubbing my tongue on my lip and it's all tore up and I barely remember some of it. Walk out into the living room towards the bathroom, blood on the floor. So that was a wake up moment. And that wasn't the first time I passed out either. That wasn't the first time I passed out. And so, I gotta get that under control. And I think I have. I got passed out going to Petaluma one time. Going to see P-Funk in Petaluma, passed out on an airplane. Didn't miss the show though, ended up in the emergency room. But, they treated me, checked me out, because I passed on an airplane, and they weren't going to let you go nowhere after the airplane until the medics and, people got me there, and people on the airplane looking at me like, oh my God, because they must have saw it happen, and they're in shock and scared. And after you pass out, you feel good. When you come to, everything is fine. You're like, hey, and they were like, and the story I'm going to tell, the story that happened was, she was like, I'm fine. Can I just go back to my seat? She was like, no, you're not fine. You just passed out 3 more times. And I didn't even know, And then I remember leaving on that episode. I was turned around, looked at everybody just looking at me when I was leaving, because they let me sit in the front seat. And I guess I had the whole plane, saw me. And I waved at them and smiled. Nobody smiled back. I was like, oh, okay. But anyway, made it to the show in Petaluma. That was when 3GP opened up. I saw the 3GP act. I was there live when 3GP may have debuted their show. And, that's a video for another time. But that's the passing out thing. And as soon as I get the sparkle today, junk, ham salad, Little Debbie's oatmeal cookies, Little Debbie's gingerbread, freaking marshmallows, cheese corn, Cheetos, barbecue potato chips. But these are barbecue potato chips and Cheetos and stuff that I can't get in California, that I get every time I hear. My ham spread, some ham, American cheese, bread, just that stuff. And marshmallows. They didn't have Jet Puff marshmallows, so I had to get the off-brand marshmallow. I'm a Jet Puff guy. I gotta have Jet Puff. There's a reason for that. And, I got 19 minutes on this. Is that true? Let me see. 17 says, about 17 minutes or whatever. 17, I can't see with my glasses. But I only need to do like 2,000, that'd be like 20 minutes if I'm doing the right speed. I don't know what kind of speed I'm on. Let's just face it, I'm just trying to get the number. And hopefully this week I'll straighten up. Well, not straighten up, but I'll be more focused. I think I got weather gear, not full-blown weather gear like when I was going to Buffalo, but some of a portion of that stuff that should keep me warm in 30-degree weather versus the 10, 11-degree weather I was expecting to face in Buffalo. So I bought, a lot of that stuff. And then I got so much stuff here at my daughter's already that I don't need to bring anything really, just a laptop and my computers and my cameras and stuff basically. And, whatever I wear on the plane to be enough. So I don't go nowhere and I wear the same clothes. And I got a stockpile here of everything, monitor, everything's here. So it makes it real convenient. Plus I could hang out with granddaughter. And for her to call me grandfather, it is touching. But it'll probably hit me later. But right now, for whatever reason, I don't know if I'm deflecting or trying to stay out of my emotions, but I'm about production. I'm about what capability, getting things done. The rest of them people love her too much. She could do no wrong. She could just, like my supervisor was saying about her kids, when she had kids, she could just sit there and look at them and they could do no wrong. Anything they did was just precious and wonderful. So even when they did something bad, it was hard for her to discipline them or get mad because it was just so, everything was just so wonderful about every little instance of them. And I think these people back here may have that for that. And I told them, like I told my niece, the problem with them is they love you too much. I'm going to tell you the truth. So she grew up with that from little. Uncle Jeff is going to come at you this way. And I know her mother probably said, now, Uncle Jeff going to have something to say. And they probably already know what I'm going to say because it's, I'm consistent. They know how I think and what I'm going to say and what I'm going to think. So I'm sure they're on top of that. And I don't mind it. I don't mind them. I don't mind my niece or the younger people understanding where I'm coming from and being able to process that and knowing that's just the way he thinks. He don't mean no harm about it. He's just no hatred. Because like I'm a classist, and I let them know there's just different classes of people. There are people who are quote unquote in the upper class. I mean, a better class than us and a lesser class than us. And I put it crudely like that just so they can understand it at the early age. Now that my niece is older, we can talk about with a lot more granular, at the more granular level, and more clarity about exactly what I meant by that. How the different races and the different social groups and the different classes, demographics, all, in my opinion, how to treat that versus how mainstreams teach you that we're all the same, we're all equal and all that. Sure we are at a certain level, we're all equal, but we're not all capable. And like Talmud says, and I say it again because it's one of my favorite sayings to hear me say, is I'll treat everybody fair, but I don't treat everybody the same. And I think, equity versus equality. And, growing up, my niece was young. I'm probably with my kids too. They probably knew how I felt about things. I'm not sure they did, especially with the atheist stuff back then. Their mother's devout, Jesus, love Jesus and God and all that. But they understood how I felt. They'll let them know and they could process it. And they saw that I didn't really care. I mean, I had passion for it, but whatever they wanted to be, that's on them. That's on you. Here's how I'm going to do it. Look how I do it. Look where it's gotten me. Look how I do it. Look how I handle things. Look what benefits or doesn't benefit me with the understanding that I'm showing you. And the same thing with granddaughter. But right now she's too young for me to get anywhere near that. My thing with her is the discipline. Is the discipline. Because there's things I can just tell her she'll do. And she won't do it, for those people that love her too much. I was like, go in there and go in there and get a clean butt. Get your butt clean. Go in there, something like that. She turned around and walked right over there. Like her mother be calling like, Gianna. But they'll have a relationship that I'll never have with a granddaughter. And quite frankly, one that I probably don't want. I mean, one that I don't want to be that person. And what I was thinking, and what was about that whole thing, I was asking, my daughter about, I was like, y'all don't got no discipline there. Y'all don't know how to discipline. Y'all ain't up, you don't discipline it. And she was like, nope, because none of them really, they just don't discipline well. They're just not their thing. I said, but y'all be ready to fight and go after somebody in a minute. And she was like, that's true. It's not that they weak or nothing. It's just the discipline thing. And I said, I wonder why, I blah, blah, blah. And then she asked me something like that. I wonder why, but look at you. You didn't either. I said, that's true. But I had Clarence Mitchell in the house every day. My father came in the house in a day and he was staunch discipline. I mean, it was cut and dry. The line was drawn clearly how he felt and what he thought. Very clearly how he thought, what he felt. And since I was in his house and his son, there was a certain amount of ways I had to do things. This was never put to me that way, though. The way it was presented and laid out, it was never put that way. It was just expected. It just plain out what is expected of me. And I knew. And I was told, I'm sure I was told, don't do this, don't do that. But I was told in a bigger sense of what was quote unquote right and quote unquote wrong in the world of Clarence Mitchell. And so not only was I taught that, I was shown how to discipline. So I have no problem with discipline. I have no problem with discipline because I even feel comfortable doing it. I feel comfortable like that little 2-year-old, I take her pacifier from her, she look at me crying. It don't faze me none. And I talk to her straight, I don't baby talk. I tell her, I say, go over there, get that. And she'll do it. And then we'll be playing it, it's not like, and she does have a little, I don't know if it's fear or respect. I don't care what you want to call it. I think it works. I think you got to have a little bit of level of that. But like I said, the closeness I see with her and her grandmother, oh my God, they like friends and like buddies. They just the closeness that she has with her grandmother, my ex-wife, and her mother is, I won't have that. And I even saw that with my niece. I saw my niece and my mother talking one day, and the way my niece was just so relaxed and casual, and I was like, she don't talk to me like that. And it wasn't like in a bad, sassy way. She was just loose and free, and it was like, open. And it was like, she don't talk to me like that. And it kind of hit me at first, and then I was like, I want it that way. I don't want to be that close. I probably don't want that responsibility. I mean, that's the easy way out. And that's true, because I was saying to somebody else. In fact, I was telling the Hertz car girl who, like I was telling that story, how the service was so bad, we kind of got off on the wrong foot, or I had to let them know that I wasn't used to this. Over time we got, not close, but, a lot better understanding. And we rode today, and, kind of like a little, not a heart-to-heart talk, but kind of because she gave me a ride back after I dropped the car off, because it's like too cold to walk or whatever. And she gave me a ride back. She had to shut down the store. There was nobody there. See, that's the kind of stuff to do. She had to shut down the store. There was nobody there. And when I got there, I had to stay in there 5 minutes while she was washing another car. And I was like, and I see those two girls in there, when I go in there, more than once now, and I get to know their plight and their situation, and I have sympathy for it and understanding for it. And we was talking in the car about that when she gave me a ride back. And I forget what note I was going to say about that, but that was my day today. And I get here, and granddaughter remembered me, called me grandfather, and she's saying, yeah, and like I said, it didn't hit me yet, because I'm about the discipline. I'm about, what you do, don't do, how you respond, what you do, how you treat your mother, what you doing, you're listening, how smart you are, how many words you can do now, how much you can climb, what you can do better, what you can't do. When I look in your eyes, what do I see? What are you saying? And now she's saying things, not quite totally clear, but she's trying to say stuff, and there's a conversation that she's having. There's certain words she'll say, certain words she'll just repeat that she hears, certain things I see her do with my cameras, or the way she looks at things, or the way she touches things. I'm looking at all that, how she would play with certain things, how she'll imitate certain things, how certain things she'll do, I'll show her and she'll try to do it again. I mean, everything from, her every time I come down here and get on the glider, she'll come and get on there. In fact, I came down here to do some steps today on this thing, and she was on it so much, I just walked in the circles. I let her just sit on it and play on it and, figure it out. And she's actually doing her legs, because she's taller now. So her legs, she was able to do her legs a little more. Before, she was just so little, she could just barely, she used to get on there. And I don't know if I was saying earlier, but there's pictures of, me with her sitting on my lap. Yeah, with her sitting on my lap looking at the computer screen before she could do anything. Before she even knew what a computer, before she probably could understand what was coming out of her eyes. She don't even look like the same child anymore. Sitting there looking at my computer screen. And I was like, wow, I had you looking at this stuff all your life. I didn't even realize it. Pretty much you've been seeing me, come here and setting up a computer, screens and keyboards ever since, And I didn't, you just do what you do, and they're gonna pick up on stuff. And it hits you one way, and it may hit you a different way. So, this thing says, no, that can't be right. It's gotta be more than that. So I just wanted to come out here and hopefully this is recorded. I did a nice little recording about the George Clinton Walk of Fame, and it didn't record audio. I hope this thing is. In fact, yeah, I see it's on. I hope it's recording, because I thought the other one was on and it didn't get any audio. And it was talk about how my feelings, towards that whole event, about the whole event and that experience, and I went into it and kind of did the good job, and I thought, and it's just lost, it's just gone, and then you get deflated, and you feel like you'll never be able to repeat it, that one, because it was in the moment. You can't relive that moment, repeat that moment, but you want to get the essence of it, at least the data down from it. So, all right, let me see how much time I've been on this thing. 30 minutes, oh my God. Says I've been on this thing for 30 minutes, so I should have 11,000 steps. See, once you get into it, once I start talking, I was only supposed to go down here for 20 minutes. I get going, it feels good. It feels good because it's like, what, maybe 10 o'clock here? Maybe 10, before 10 p.m., which is only 7 p.m. You know, from my body, I'm off. I was off today, I'm off tomorrow, and I could be off Monday. But I think I'm gonna work because I got to take off Wednesday. So, you know, we're gonna get that all figured out. We'll get that all figured out. Take my Claritin, because I could have swore I felt my throat doing something, or like I was getting a cold or something. And then last night when I got sick, it felt like I was gonna pass out, that whole pass out thing, nauseous, sweating. When I laid down and it finally passed, it felt so good. When it finally passed, I just laid in that seat and went right to sleep like a baby. It felt so good just to get through that. Then I woke up, my shirt was wet from sweat. You know, my shirt was just soaking wet from sweat. And that's like, oh wow, you really did go through something. This is tangible evidence that you went through something. Because when you wake up afterwards, you're like, hey, yeah. And it just feels so good to have that pass and to be lay there and have my body, I guess, go back to the temperature, everything adjusted back right. And I curled up on that seat because there wasn't nobody on. I had a whole row to myself. I curled up the seat, just went to sleep. And it feels so good. And then wake up and you think about your stomach. And like after I've been through all of that, first thing I'm thinking about was when I'm gonna eat. And I know it's an issue. I know it's a thing, I've always had it. I think I've always had that, whatever it was, and I replace it with smoking or something else. But I always had like a craving or a stimulation that I needed, and there's different ways I can get it. And I used to get it through smoking or nicotine or weed or whatever. Drinking, probably, even back in my drinking days, probably, you know, part of my drinking days was probably that. I haven't had a drink in 30 years, since 1989, 40 years, 30 something, 40, I don't know. Yeah, you know, it was 40 years ago, last year. I'm sure I commemorated the thing. I've been out in California for 40 years, came out in 83. So last year was 40 years in California. Now I'm back in Youngstown, granddaughter's fantastic, smart, just, you know, energized. Don't stop, you just sit there, you know, and she just jumping and laughing and having a good time, you know, and you just sit there and go, just laugh. Me and my daughter just laugh because she's just nonstop and just, you know, she was showing out probably because I was here, feeling good, you know, just talking everything, just into everything, just looking and wanting to try that and jumping on the bed and going from this to that. Put Cocomelon on, she's singing Cocomelon, singing it on beat, and singing it in time to the music. I've noticed that too very, very much. You know, when how she recognizes the words sung to the music on the beat and in the tone and the cadence, you know, right to the music, not just like repeating it, you know, afterwards. No, you know, she anticipates it, she knows when it's coming. You know, when the blink, 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 right on time. You know, that's the stuff that turns me on. Not how cute she is. Ain't she the cutest little baby? Ain't she the cutest little baby? I'm like, yeah, maybe. I'll be like, yeah, maybe, but that ain't what gets me. That's not what moves me. Just little different things that she does, like here. She like use words like here or come here, or their mother says, you know, she may or may not have used before. You know, the first time, like putting in context what's going on, you know, understanding what these things are in relation to something she needs to happen at that moment. You know, and then one thing we're sitting there, she got to go around kids her age. She got to get around some other people. Because I'm old, I'm 60, that's my excuse. My daughter kind of older too, she's 38. No, 36, double 18, she said. And still, you know, we ain't 20-somethings. When we had them, we were 20-somethings. You know, we were a lot younger and, you know, life hadn't done what it has done to us. Not that what life does what you've done. You get good at what you do, you get experience, so your life isn't as rough. You know, you're not like, your life isn't as intense and you get, not lazy, but you get soft. You know, the better your life gets, the softer you get. And the older you get, hopefully, the better your life gets. I don't have to work nowhere near as hard as I did when I was 20. Nowhere near. I didn't, I don't have the energy at 60 to do what I did at 20, that I gratefully did at 20. And it's 30, 40, 50, more experience, compiling my resume or whatever, not necessarily a resume, but experience, where you carry yourself, just the whole demeanor, everything, your whole essence, your energy. When you walk into a room, you're just at a different level than you are when you were like 20 something. Anyway, 35 minutes. Hopefully this thing is recording. I guess I can do one for y'all. Swing on y'all 2 times. For me, for the funk. And you know what I did? I turned the backlight off. See, I turned the backlight off because I used to have that light bulb right there on. I turned it off. I said, why have that one on? I just have this one on. It made it a lot better. Swing on y'all 2 times. For me, and for the funk, and for family, for granddaughter specifically, and to see, and for every elementary particle that has ever existed in any atom that ever was, is, or will be in any universe, a totality of it all, theory of universe. Not theory of the universe, not a theory of the universe, but theory of universe. Theory of universe. Hypothesis of all as one. My name is Jeffrey.